story. But
Yes.
I think people really need a hand up, not just a handout. The handouts are fine, right? But we have to help people up and walk with them and walk alongside them, hear their story, and really try to encourage them to grow and to
respect
expand.
is a big thing.
Oh,
respect
huge.
is a very big thing. I think we forget sometimes that where we place our respect. There's no special place to put your respect. It should be everywhere. In everything that you do.
Yep.
So, and you have to, and I think it's getting them to respect themselves. Sometimes they're in a place where they're not treated respectfully, or they forget that they deserve respect.
Yes.
And so I think respect is, a very big part of that.
Mm-hmm. I think back to that song that was Respect. That one song was Respect.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Yes. And I think back to how for me in my kind of spiritual worldview is that everything is interconnected. Like I respect the wood in this chair. I respect the vinyl.
The craftsman.
The people who put it together, who built it, who designed it. That's that mutual respect, right?
Yes.
And we offer respect to human beings because we're all human. And we're all on a journey. And we're all doing this together, right? And it takes all of us to work together.
And I think sometimes we all get caught up in our personal feelings.
Yep.
And, my big thing is to step outside of our own personal issues.
Which is kind of what volunteering helps you to do, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It puts it in perspective, and it helps you step out of, and like I said at the beginning, it also gives back so much. It helps you put your own issues in perspective. And a lot of times we can see our side and our pain and any of our feelings, but we need to stop and look at other people's. And we're so busy, our lives are busy, our society, our world is busy. And so I think just that, if you can volunteer just that little tiny bit, it puts a lot of that in so much perspective.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap this up, I think we've talked about unsheltered, homelessness, empathic, volunteering, compassion, knowing that we're all a situation away from a situation, and that we're all interconnected, and it's really important that we stay connected, right?
Yes.
And that we respect each other, no matter what our journey, no matter what our kind of attitude, no matter how difficult,
And
challenging
remember to look
we may
outside
be.
of ourselves.
And look outside of ourselves, exactly.
We can see our own circumstances, but while doing that, we need to look at the other person's circumstances. And most of the time in that situation, being old, on the other side of life now, most of the time, if you can do that, you find commonness.
Yes.
You find that common ground when you can do that. When you can stop and say, yes, I feel this, and yes, these are the things I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
But, oh yes, you're dealing with those things. And so all of a sudden, you're more alike. And that's my biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, you're more alike than you are different, right? And I think when you find that common place, the thing that links us as human beings together, our life, our experience of life.
And I think we get so caught up in our own that we
in
don't.
our own drama.
Yeah. And I feel society now is, and maybe it's being old again, I feel now we label things, we put things in boxes, and in doing so, it separates us. And that's really hard for me.
Right, like we're not defined by our labels. I'm not defined by my label, by your label, right? We label so much, or behind the camera, Kevin.
Yeah.
We're all different. We all have a different background. We all have different cultural backgrounds, gender, right, age.
But instead of looking at all that, can we look at what we have in common? And I think that would solve all the world problems. I can solve all the world problems if we could all do that.
Yay! Well, that's true, though. If we can look at our if we could just realize we're one people, that we're common identity, that we're beautiful creations.
And we can embrace our differences. There's nothing wrong with embracing our differences, but I think sometimes when we label them so much, it breaks us up and separates us.
You're right. You're right. I think that applies to all of life, to all of humanity, to all of creation. And sometimes
people want to be labeled a certain way. That's a positive thing for them. That puts them in a good position.
Yeah.
And then labeling people puts them in a negative position, which what I'm saying is any labels, positive or negative, it splits us up. It breaks us up.
Yeah.
It divides us instead of keeping us as one.
Well, and you probably know that as a teacher too, right?
Oh, yes.
It's like the good readers, the bad readers,
Exactly.
you know, Blue Jays, the
Yeah.
Bluebirds, whatever,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that we oftentimes we get pigeonholed.
We have to address
yes.
those differences.
Yep.
They need to be addressed, but in doing them, we have to look at each other as a whole.
Amen.
You know, teaching the whole child, I loved when that came around in education.
Yeah.
Is, you know, teaching the whole child instead of just teaching reading or math or whatever it may be, or phonics, or
Yep.
the whole child is so important, and the whole person in general.
Yep.
Adults, children, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So to kind of bring us to a conclusion, what's the best thing about living here on the coast of Mississippi, which for me has quickly become home?
Right.
I am delighted, and I've said this before, every time I drive along the water. I drive over the bridge from Ocean Springs to Biloxi, and I can see the sun or the moon bouncing off
yeah.
off the water. What's the best thing for you?
That is the best thing for me. The best thing really is the relationships I've formed here, because I was a military child growing up, so I got to experience many different places. Did not appreciate it as a child, but I appreciate it now as an adult. But here, Biloxi is home. It's where I have my deepest relationships. I have my family and my friends that I've nurtured over the years. And but as far as the physical part of the coast, I think it's the people, and I think it's also what you're saying, it's the beauty of it. I tell my grandsons all the time, we drive down Highway 90, and I say, we forget to embrace that people pay money to come here. People pay money and want to come here on a vacation, and we get it every day.
Yep.
So, and it is the beauty. My favorite place is the islands. It's just peace for me. It's just stepping away from everything and that peacefulness of nature and the water, the sand, the sun, the moon. It doesn't matter. And that's where I go all the time when I'm in my most stressful state. It's walk down.
Yeah.
I'm lucky enough to be able to walk down to, or drive down to the beach, and just it makes that all go away. Even if just helps you put it all in perspective.
Yeah.
So that is the beauty
Yeah.
of our coast.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm picking up my kayak hopefully this weekend. It came in, and so I can't wait to
The
kayak
bayous.
out the bayous.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And kayak out to Deer Island,
Yes.
and just
And
and
do
then
them.
go farther to Horn Island and Ship Island.
Yeah.
And just.
I don't know if I want you
really-
out at Ship Island in that
Yeah,
kayak,
I
but
don't know if I could paddle back. 10 miles there, 10 miles back, not sure, right?
Yeah.
But I think, that's the
It could
beauty
be
of
right
living
there.
here.
Yes.
So I encourage people to come down and volunteer, right? You can come down and
oh shoot, yeah.
hammer. You can
And
come
while
down
you're here, enjoy. I always
Yeah.
want our volunteers that come from out of town, especially the youth. I always want them to find some time. They are here for a purpose.
Yeah.
And it's important to do the work that they came to do. But I also think it's so important that they experience the coast.
Oh, definitely.
You know?
And the great food we have.
Oh, sure.
All the fried foods. Fried fish, fried okra, fried everything, right? Everything tastes better fried. Come on. Snickers.
And in small amounts,
Fried
it's good.
Snicker bars are
yes,
good.
just
Yeah.
remember to keep it all in perspective. Yeah.
That's right. Make sure you exercise.
Yeah.
So thank you, Julie, for spending this time and for everything you brought to Back
Thank y'all for
Bay, and for
having
the
me.
joy that you bring to me,
I
and the
hope
compassion that I see and the tears that I see at
Oh,
times
please.
as
Yes.
we do this hard work together. So
Yes, and thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you everybody
letting
for
me come
joining
and be a
us.
part of
Oh,
it.
of course,
Yes.
of course. Thank you for joining us, and join us again next week. Feel free to support us in whatever way you can, but especially sending us good energy and love. Peace.